Hey there, welcome back to 7 Minute Books. I'm Sam, and today we're digging into Eric Kandel's The Disorder Mind. Sophie, I have to say, this book completely shifted how I think about mental illness.
Hi there, Sam, and yeah, same here. Kandel is a Nobel Prize winner who studies memory, and his core argument is so straightforward. Every mental disorder is a brain disorder. Not in a reductive way, but because every thought and feeling has a physical basis in neural circuits.
Right? And he says the split between neurological and psychiatric conditions is basically a historical accident. Schizophrenia, depression, Alzheimer's, they're all disorders of brain circuitry, just like Parkinson's or a stroke.
Exactly. And that doesn't ignore psychology or environment. It just gives us a framework for how those factors interact with biology. Let's start with schizophrenia, because that's where he opens.
Yeah, and he clears up a huge misconception. Schizophrenia isn't split personality. It's a disorder of reality testing, hallucinations, delusions, and disorganized thinking. The hallmark is auditory hallucinations, hearing voices that aren't there.
And what's wild is that brain imaging shows the same circuits that process actual sound are activated during hallucinations. So the brain is generating sensory experiences internally, but the mechanism that tags them as self-generated is broken. That's called a failure of source monitoring.
That blew my mind. It's not just imagination running wild. The brain literally cannot tell the difference between what's real and what it's making up. And he ties this to dopamine signaling.
Right, the dopamine hypothesis has evolved. It's not just too much dopamine. It's an imbalance. Too little in the prefrontal cortex leads to negative symptoms like apathy, while too much in other areas produces positive symptoms like hallucinations.
So then he moves to depression and anxiety. And I love how he frames depression. It's not just deep sadness. It's a persistent state where even simple tasks feel impossible.
He explains it in terms of circuit dysfunction. The amygdala becomes hyperactive, processing threats too strongly, while the prefrontal cortex, which normally calms things down, becomes underactive. So you're stuck in a loop of heightened emotion and poor regulation.
And here's the part that really got me. Chronic stress and depression actually shrink the hippocampus. That's the memory and context center. So depression is a structural brain disorder, not just a chemical imbalance.
But the hopeful part is that treatment, both medication and therapy, promotes neuroplasticity. The brain can physically rebuild those damaged circuits. That's why it takes time to feel better.
Yeah, and he says the same goes for anxiety. The amygdala is hyper-responsive to potential threats, and the prefrontal cortex can't put the brakes on. So your brain is constantly on alert, even when there's no real danger.
And he's careful to say this isn't a failure of will. It's biology. That kind of understanding can really reduce stigma.
Then he gets into Alzheimer's, which is personal for him because he won the Nobel for memory research. He studied sea slugs, of all things, to figure out how memories are stored.
And he brings that expertise to Alzheimer's. The disease typically starts in the hippocampus, which is why memory loss is the first symptom. Then it spreads, destroying the neural infrastructure of memory, language, identity.
The molecular pathology involves amyloid beta plaques and tau tangles. These proteins gum up the works and trigger inflammation that kills neurons. And the search for treatments has been tough, lots of failures.
But he's optimistic about prevention and early intervention. Lifestyle factors like exercise, cognitive engagement, and social connection build cognitive reserve. That makes the brain more resilient.
He also covers autism, which he frames as a different way of processing information, not just a deficit. People with autism often have heightened perceptual abilities and focus on details. That could be a strength.
The neural basis involves differences in connectivity, especially in networks for social cognition and theory of mind. But the key is recognizing that it's a variation, not a broken version of normal.
And he doesn't shy away from the big questions: consciousness, free will, the mind-brain relationship. He says consciousness isn't some mysterious extra. It's a property of certain kinds of neural information processing.
That's a tough idea to wrap your head around, but it gives a framework for investigation. And he ties it all back to genetics and epigenetics. Most psychiatric disorders are highly heritable, but no single gene causes them. It's hundreds of genes interacting with environment.
Right? And his own research showed that learning changes gene expression in synapses. That means experiences, trauma, stress, but also therapy can leave lasting marks on the brain by altering gene expression. Those changes can even be passed down.
That's the epigenetic piece. And it's hopeful because it means the brain is changeable throughout life. Neuroplasticity isn't just for kids. Recovery is possible, even after years of suffering.
The one takeaway I'm walking away with is that mental illness is not something that happens to other people. It's a risk every human faces because we all have this magnificent, fragile brain. An understanding that deepens compassion.
Totally. And honestly, if you want to go deeper, the whole library's over at 7minutebooks.com/app with over 6,000 fiction and nonfiction titles you can read or listen to in any language. It starts at $2.99 a month, $9.99 a year, or $19.99 for lifetime access. So the big idea, by studying the broken brain, we learn how the healthy brain works, and that teaches us what it means to be human. We'll see you in the next one.